Opposition Leader Peter Dutton has walked back his offer to symbolically recognise Indigenous Australians in the Constitution, declaring the public is over referendums after the Voice's spectacular failure on the weekend. Political reporter Olivia Caisley has this story.
Indigenous recognition back in the spotlight, but a second referendum on the issue is now off the table.
The Australian public is probably over the referendum process for some time.
The opposition leader has gone cold on his plan to hold a second vote focused solely on constitutional acknowledgement of First Australians.
He gave a solemn promise that he would support a second referendum being held.
So you'd hold another referendum?
I believe very strongly, I believe very strongly that it is the right thing to do.
But he still wants an audit of spending on Indigenous programs. It follows a resounding defeat for the Yes campaign on Saturday as Australians rejected the proposed voice to Parliament. In the wash-up, attention is turning to how to close gaps between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians in areas like life expectancy, health, education and justice, and heal the national divide.
As government, we have a responsibility to write the next chapter as well. A chapter that sees the gap closing.
As analysts pick over the entrails of the Voice referendum defeat, figuring out what went wrong where for the Yes side, the opposition is seeking to inflict maximum political damage, laying the blame at the feet of Anthony Albanese.
Australians are questioning the competence of this Prime Minister. Energy policy is a disaster with power prices going up and up. The $450 million referendum was against advice and resulted in our country being divided. Will the Prime Minister apologise to the Australian people?
Peter Dutton led a Trumpian campaign of misinformation that stoked fear.
There's no good blaming anyone. We've already wasted 2 years.
Cabinet will meet to discuss the government's next steps to address Indigenous disadvantage. That could include an interim listening mechanism to get Indigenous input on Indigenous policy. Olivia Caisley, Sky News, Canberra.